Arnaud Vanpoperinghe.
Arnaud Vanpoperinghe.
Alors, Arnaud Vanpoperinghe,
Arnaud
l'homme de
Vanpoperinghe,
Poperingue.
the man from
42 kilomètres
Poperingue,
d'ici,
42 kilometers away from here, just on the Belgian-Flanders border, and we can hear a kind of nice music that I suggested for you to choose. You chose Billy Idol, and the title is Eyes Without a Face. Why did you choose this one? It's a song that I've always loved. I mean, it's a very old song. When I was younger and I had more hair, you have been, you used to be, yeah. Yes, very, very hairy. And it's a song that my sons have noticed, and they gave me a film about this song. They changed the words, and it's a gift that they gave me for my birthday, so it's something that moves me. We will hear it after the 45 minutes we're going to spend here with Arnaud. The purpose is to have a conversation to understand Tikamoon, the manager and the director and the company, its trends, its transformation, its goals, and as it is the theme for our World Forum, it's out of sync. What is the last piece of furniture you bought? It's the furniture Oscar. Was that? It's a Tikamoon furniture. Yes, it's Oscar. It's one of our bestsellers that we have displayed in our showroom. It's 190 centimeter. We've got also 120, and it works very well. And I love this furniture because it has a strong identity. It's got a signature. We can't find it anywhere else. And when the competition is open, we have a lot of competitors getting inspired by us. They're part of these furnitures which are important for our brand identity. What language did the company use, and which marketing language convinced you to purchase this piece of furniture? It's interesting because you're on both sides of the counter, so to speak. I must say that I bought it not being aware of it because I attended its birth. I didn't go and have a look on the product document, but it was a heartthrob, and I didn't go through the brand as such. As a CEO of Tikamoon, number of collaborators, turnover, 250 collaborators, and 110 million of turnover. So you've had several companies, Total in La Défense. You then moved to Houston and Boston also, where you learned marketing and finance, to move to the next door neighbors, KPMG, where you specialized in audit. And in the room, you've got some former colleagues, and then you joined the Trois Suisses, where you worked on management control. Then, when you joined the e-commerce in its booming days with twice cheaper when e-commerce was thriving, and then you start in the entrepreneurship and you joined the founder of Tikamoon in 2010. Couple of words about the man, the person, because I know to understand the company and its transformations, who's driving it. You've sent me two personal pictures. Can we display them, and can you please give me your comments then? The two personal pictures that Arnaud sent me, are they coming?
Voilà.
Right.
Tu es à droite?
You're on the right?
Oui, je suis à droite.
Yes, I'm on the right.
En rouge.
in red. So this is a picture which is dear to my heart because it's a picture when we went skiing with my partner, and ski is part of my deepest feelings. And when I was able to ski with my partner, we spent 48 hours, the two of you, and we probably drew some of the inflections on the ski pool that we went on. Ski is a sport I've been practicing since my very young days. I've got uneven feelings and sensations. I love it. I mean, it's a bit of a selfish and guilty sport, maybe, but it is the sport that in this gliding and sliding environment makes me really feel intense. And the second picture, thanks to BRICS, who support CEO, I did a cycling downhill test, and you've got to be very relaxed for that, because if you tense, you fall. Simple. So you cannot be tense when you are going downhill full blast, and that's what we've experienced. And the other element keen on me for that, it's shot in the Basque region. I do this sport there, and the Basque country, that's where the family meets. That's like a second home, and we meet with my wife and my 3 sons. I find there the proximity of nature, of a small village, of an ocean, and values and a warmth in this area there, which is good. Economy is faulting, retail's faulting, the consumers are shaking. What do you use to be relaxed faced of the repeated crises that we've got to face? Well, the first is with Tika, we've had to overcome a lot of crises, and the first few years were probably more scary than now. We've got a critical size, we've got a good organization now, we've got a turnover figure, we've got good profitability. Even if we're not growing madly, I mean, it's a stability and profitability level which gives us the time to focus and work in depth. And I'm not obsessed either, neither about growth nor money. I've got so much pleasure with people to build and to imagine what will be the destiny of this company, that things are rocking business-wise, but that's not my main concern nor my first drive. That's the promise of Tikamoon, to sell furniture which lasts longer than the time of the tree growing again. So it's focusing on the generative vision that we work with the CEC. You've joined the CEC, yes, in its first session. And that's exactly that, in fact. We have the ambition, the intention at Tikamoon to be a company doing some good to people and the planet. And we've realized that we cannot claim to be positive if the furniture doesn't last as long as the tree that we planted to grow back. So when we make a furniture, we plant a young tree, but we would have lost our gamble if our furniture doesn't last as long, at least, as the tree takes to grow. What is the impact on the final cost to the customer? There's a trade-off. I mean, when we focused on the furniture to last longer, we had to get out of our collection furnitures that wouldn't last for 100 years. So either because of the way they were built or because of their essence, so to speak. Today, we had to take out of the collection plated NDF furniture which wasn't FSC or not strong enough, so we had an overcost of about 20%. Overcost in terms of purchasing price, yes.
Et que tu répercutes sur le prix final.
You pass on that onto the final price. So the furniture that we've kept are more expensive. The very accessible SKUs articles we've cancelled. So our intention is to supply furniture sustainable for everybody and durable for everybody. How can we solve the equation of sustainability, price, and accessibility? So we found a track that I could detail later. Well, you could detail it now. Okay. Well, it's this whole thinking process, actually, that we've been through with the CSC. Even if the furniture lasts 100 years, if the customer is not aware of that, and if he puts, after 10 years, the furniture on the pavement out of laziness or because of ignorance, there's no point. The furniture that will last 100 years, the time it takes for the new tree to grow, a piece of wood, if it's more than 100 years old, can be considered as a carbon trap. So we realize that your furniture can capture carbon, yeah, because it's made of wood. And we're talking a lot about carbon captation. I mean, this is carbon captation. I mean, the only thing is that it shouldn't be released in the atmosphere because of combustion or rotting. So it should last as long as possible. So, okay, for the furniture to last for 100 years, that means that we've got to support the client for 100 years, tutorials, and the client will not keep his piece of furniture for 100 years. It's not too sexy. So how do we take care of each piece of furniture we've made? 2 million pieces of furniture are in Europe, and how do you manage to offer to the client, wherever he is in Europe, to have a solution for home maintenance, home repair, and what we thought the 3 R's of circularity: take back, restore, and sell again. And our responsibility is for it to circulate and for never the furniture or this piece of wood to be lost. What is the percentage of customers playing ball with you with these 3 R's? And can you specify to us the customer journey that you put in place to take him, bring him into this story of regeneration? Today, we haven't been using the 3 R's. It depends on the circular hub that we've got to put in place, and that's our project for 2025. Circular workshop and circular shop, as we have in Sequedin. And we find 5 woodworkers and 5 storekeepers who will, during the 60 days when the customer can bring back the furniture, we have 0 waste on the wood. We dismantle them. We take them even sometimes into shelves, and we build new furniture with it, or we just repair it. So this hub is our lab. We've put in place a few weeks ago the possibility for returns. That's the very, very early days of that. What is the percentage of circularity you have then in the 2 million pieces of furniture that you've made? We distribute them also. Today we've got between 2 and 4% of our turnover, which is furniture with life returns. We cannot have return, repair, and sell again. We can't generalize that because it's at a local basis. For us, it doesn't work on an e-commerce basis. So it's got to be a proximity strategy that you will duplicate. Yes, it's a multi-local approach with moderation of the network. Yes, probably a platform or using associations, but it's a change in culture, which is highly important for us because we go from our culture, which is global digital culture of product retail with the CC and with the regeneration view. We go not from the global but multi-local, not from the digital but from the manual stance. I mean, we're going to have carpenters and woodworkers and not selling, not retailing products, but retailing service. So in 10, 20 years, the fresh wood material would be either forbidden, which we could hope for, or so expensive that it's going to be a luxury. So this ability to do some mining of boards, that will be the case in 10 or 20 years. I mean, it will happen. In a nutshell, the three cornerstones of your transformation for regeneration, it's multi-local, service-based, and not just the sale of a product, and it's support to the customers. There's a notion of education of the customer. Yes. So, facing that, what is the economic model, the new economic model by Tikamoon? Because to meet this ambition and this strategy in your operation, you don't just have 50,000 pieces of furniture times 800 euros of average value and 50% margin. Your margin is higher than that. No, it's a joke. But how is it translated in your profit and loss? I mean, we've always had, and we've always had with our teams a strong imagination. Whether it's 5, 10, or 20 years, I mean, it's going to happen very progressively. We're going to stay using our model of selling new products maybe in the next 5 or 10 years, and then the balance will change between 5, 10, switching to 40% of service-orientated activity. When the raw material will be more expensive, we don't know the price we're going to put on this service-based activity, but 10 or 15 years from now, we're going to be better placed with a hub service for restoration, repair, and resale. I mean, how's it going to be priced? We don't know. We would like to have a piece of furniture that lasts a long time and that is being supported for a long time with this notion of return possibility, which is a true added value for our clients. And we hope that in the coming years, customers will come to us because they will be fully aware that they can return their furniture to us, or they could even buy other pieces of furniture as a second hand. We want to create a whole economy of the second line for those pieces of furniture in their third, second life to be available for people who can't afford buying a new one. And you wrote, or you co-wrote this strategy. You're targeting 2040, so that's long distance. 2040, that's the star. I was really impacted. Well, in fact, I'm sad. As Nicolas said, my planet hurts me. So at Tikamoon, we are very emotionally sensitive as to what is happening concerning the human element. So we all need to have this vision of positive contribution. And at the same time, we know that creating 40 circular hubs in Europe, because our market is at European level, 40 multi-local hubs in Europe. Yes, that's going to be a playing game, yeah. Because that's today's playing game. I mean, we don't do half of that in France. So if we want to cover 50% of the population or 60% of the Euro population within 50 or 100 kilometers, we need 50 hubs. And it's going to take us 10 or 15 years to build this up. But tomorrow, we will then I mean, today, copper, rare materials, there are products which we recuperate, I mean, with an association called SEV in Soissons. When we can't repair our furniture, we dismantle it into boards, we give them the boards, and they build new words by giving the opportunity for people to be trained to joinery or carpentry. So maybe we could even consider the participation to a school. Which is your source for your wood? Anywhere. We've got France, Eastern Europe, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, and we source wherever where the wood is healthy, certified as far as traceability, sustainability, FSC, and transformed locally. In workshops we close to and that we visit every week. So we follow the logic. I mean, we are not biased as made in France nor even made in Europe. I mean, with the life cycle analysis, the key element of sustainability was the life of the object and not its source. A lorry coming from Poland is as many tons of released CO2 as a cargo coming from India or Indonesia. You went sideways, basing yourself on the life cycle, rather than focusing just on the carbon production. You focus on the duration of the life of the product, yes, which is part of the analysis of the life cycle. There's been a big debate in the teams, actually, because there's this big wave of the made in France, of produced in France, and that's what we do. We offer products produced in France, which cost twice as much and which sell not as much as the other. We're agnostic about the supply. We have a wooden furniture that lasts 400 years, and the customer will decide based on his value. The Eden furniture is made in France, in Europe, and in Indonesia, and the price is multiplied by 2. But it depends on the customer's beliefs. If we only focused on French products, I mean, turnover would be much smaller. You discovered your model of regenerative strategy, service to the customers, multi-local circular hub. I mean, as you're fortunate, I mean, as we're talking about, I mean, you've got your full catalog being displayed here, minus 30% of the furniture when you leave the home. Does Tikamoon have a Black Friday too? Yes?
Sortez, monsieur.
Get out. No. In fact, the Black Friday it's very touchy because sales, it's neither more nor less guilty than Black Friday. Black Friday is like China or Timo. I mean, it's not Black Friday, so there are courageous sites who said, oh, we're going to lower our turnover by not taking part in the Black Friday operation. It's important to have some kind of impulsion. So Black Friday, encouraging people to buy a lot of non-lasting products, not sustainable products at minus 20%. Yes, we can do that, but I mean, people who didn't get involved in the Black Friday had a minus 20 or 30% in the sales period. So soft on the Black Friday, we need to get known. We need to increase our brand impact, and we decided not to cross out this trading moment, this commercial moment, and it's the time for us during the Black Friday to have minus 40% on older series and making that more accessible to people. So we play on our margins. We try not to be too greedy on our products. I mean, this type of products are sold with a margin of plus 30 or 40%. So making accessible this sustainable furniture is what we want to insist on. We're not too much pro communication, but it's okay for all the people who boycott the Black Friday, but that's not our choice. And the same as the source nor the growth. I mean, I've got no problem about that. I mean, it's a key to the trade. So today on internet we have a customer looking for a good deal. So it's all debatable. In this construction phase of this regenerative strategy, I mean, 2040 is a far target. There will be steps, of course, and there will be bad cycles probably. Times when things are going to be a little bit more complicated. So how are you going to finance those periods, and how will you avoid shaking? With quite a few brands, I mean, they are stepping back as soon as they're faced with difficulties. Look at with the increase of the decrease of the purchasing power and inflation. Look at what's happened. Some brands have doubled back and locked everything up. I mean, how do you prepare yourself not to do that? It's already a case. We got out of this hyper-growth period, and we've gone from a crisis of growth. For the first 12 years of the company, we went from 1 to 5 million within 5 years, from 5 to 50 within 5 years, and from 50 to 100 within 2 years. We were stuck in our seat after the period of the COVID, where everybody refurbished their houses, and because of the inflation and because of the green bashing. Why do you have this funny smile? It's my drama today, this green bashing. We've realized that there was this big wave since 2018-19, Greta Thunberg and children in the streets. CSR was something new. I mean, all the CEO turned their coats from red to green, and now it's more a habit of turning it back the other way. I'm worried, and since the Ukraine war and the demonstrations against Europe, and the farmers' demonstration, I mean, the standards are too constrictive for them, and the political parties went into the green bashing and Europe bashing, and the two were more or less interlinked during the legislative and European elections. We are in a situation when the growth has slowed down greatly. So we could say, wow, we're going to play with opportunism, we go back with the FSC and with solid wood, and we don't today. The first challenge today, sustainable furniture. People might buy Patagonia furniture because of their aura, but Tikamoon, they understood that we provided sustainable furniture, but there are so many other people who pretend they produce a sustainable product. And the challenge is today, and we're not turning back. And you're going to tell me the same thing 1, 2, or 3 years from now? How can you? What resources do you have? We want to be sufficiently profitable. We've got a good profitability with good managers, and in our investments, we go step by step. For 10 years, we wanted to build our first shop, and we built our first one 2 years ago. Circular hubs, we've got one. We're opening a second circular shop, and we're going to create another circular hub in Paris next year to offer this return possibility. possibility, but we manage things wisely to go slowly, safely, not to putting ourselves into in danger rather than growing at the contrary to our values. So people come to us for our green commitment, and the new people that we recruit are greener and greener. So if today we change and we become just a common brand, we're going to lose our soul and our clients too. So this approach, listen to this commitment, because published in the Echo, 2/3 of the companies we are going through the 2025 budgets. 2/3 of the companies go back on the CSR investments for 2025. So the champion is Arcelor, stating that there's 6.8 billion on the decarbonated production line is left to the side. Besides the political aspect, nothing today entices us to make efforts, because throughout the world, I mean, why would we make efforts at a minimum level when a Russian oven destroyed the part of a country? Same in Palestine, when schist gases have been started again. There is what's the point today? What's the point? That's a preconceived idea that we'll deal with in the plenary session. That's extremely interesting, and we've got to be vigilant, but we are the resisting force of the aquabomb. What's the point? How do you manage all this internally with your collaborators and the shareholders? Do you have a couple of tips to give us on the intra-company transformation?
Well, we did it with we did a company convention for the climate with our CSR director and product director, and this is something that you should do because it's just an incredible experience. And we realized that we were pioneers. It was the two of us, and we were ahead of the game. But that the steering committee and the teams were not necessarily tagging along, and it took some time for them to be on board. And I've had to think about it, create the storytelling, spend time with the teams, with the Tika green tea. That was a moment of exchange with the colleagues, with the employees, and me. And today, in order to better onboard them, we are working with a firm, Chapter 2, and they went around in the company in order to do a diagnosis, to look at our culture and see where there was room for improvement, and including at the steering committee level. So communication was key, taking time is key. That's also the good thing about getting out of a hyper growth. You can take some time, take a pause. As for our shareholders, we're lucky. Whether my skiing friend is that we have a majority shareholding situation, but we also have an investment fund around the table which is not so keen on CSR. They respect it. They say, well, why not? But it's not their forte. So especially when you're not, when you don't have growth objectives, performance objectives, when you don't reach them, at least we need to defend our position and not budge. So that's why pedagogy and awareness raising and education is so important. Thank you. We have 11 minutes left, and now we're going to give the floor to the people in the room. So, oh wow, they just increase the lighting. Oh, well, we do have people. We have a big crowd today. So feel free to ask direct questions to Arnaud. But I did have one question. Where is my question? I wrote it down. You talked about your green coming out to make your environmental commitment more visible at company level. And according to you, what are the limits of an environmentally friendly language that you could use with the client? I'd like to wonder how can you, what are the keywords, what's the storytelling, how far should we go? Just so we discuss this. Do you want to answer the question right away? Yes, you do. Okay, but first let's give the floor to people in the room. Okay, we have a roving mic. So I'll give you the floor, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.
Bonjour à tous.
Hello everyone.
Je m'appelle Pauline.
Pauline.
Je sors
Speaking.
du paquebot ADO.
I
Donc,
just
Qui était actionnaire.
I used to work for ADO. That was a shareholder. I was wondering what was the situation. I can't remember exactly what the situation was. So that was my question. But I became aware of the existence of Tikamoon 5 years ago, and I decided to leave ADO in June 2024. And we also had many changes, just like what you were talking about. And I had a question for you, because after assessing my skills, where I better defined my professional journey for the future, I want to be trained. I want to get more trained. And people ask me, Pauline, why do you want to do this? Is it for other people? Do you want to get more legitimacy? Why do you want to go to another school when you already have communication skills? So when you say that you currently have needs in communication, awareness raising on everything that you're doing, would you recommend someone like me who want to somewhat pivot their career, who want to be part of the ESS sector,
chez France Travail,
who
chez France Travail, on
are basically unemployed? I think she's asking you if you want to hire her. No, I have a clear question. I have a very direct question for him. What are the types of profiles that companies such as you are looking for the future? Well, that's a good question. That was my question. But because I don't know who's in the audience today, but I wonder, there might also be people looking for a job. I'm probably not the only one. You'll give him your business card later on. Of course. I will. I'll write my number down on a piece of paper. To answer the first part of the question, we were part of ADO, a group for 5 years, and it was amazing. They have a remarkable pool of very talented and clever people. From what year to what year? From November 14th, 2019 to December 17th. I'm kidding. No. 2015 to 2020. As for the profiles that we're looking for, usually we look for experts in their sector who are in line with our values. Right now we have one CSR manager who was trained who used to work in a Parisian CSR firm, and a CSR assistant who used to work for another firm. We're all trained to CSR, the values. In 2019, I dedicated 20% of my working hours to be trained to training on CSR. We're more looking for people, for profiles and personalities rather than a CV or a degree. You would train on CSR? Well, I used to also have a consultant 1 day a week who was really there to teach me. So you really went in depth on your training, on your CSR training. Thank you very much. This is a very clear answer. Thank you. over there.
Salut Arnaud.
Hi, Arnaud.
On se connaît un petit
someone
peu.
who's-
Merci d'être
I know you. This is a familiar face. First, I'd like to thank you for your commitment to the region. And to tie into the previous question, what is your opinion and potential tips on labels, certifications? Is this something that we should do, that companies should do? Should we communicate on that? Because I feel like, I know that initially you did it without certifications. You did it your way, in a way, and you wanted to wait and see, and you've come a long way, so well done. But I was just wondering about your B Corp objectives and other certifications. We were very sustainable without knowing it for 7 years because we were in survival mode. And we realized in 2018 and 2019, when we were called upon by Greta Thunberg and the fact that there were biodiversity species that were disappearing, we realized that we didn't feel really legitimate enough. We didn't dare to communicate, so we were doing a lot without really saying much, hence the green coming out. And we did that green coming out in 2018, but we did it also to prove something, because we could tell that people were starting to do greenwashing with pictures of forests on their website, and people who were saying, well, for each euro you're spending with our company was blending in trees. So we did it because we wanted to also have this evidence-based narrative rather than have nice speeches. So we were certified by Carbon 4, certified by ADEME RCBA. We were FSC and chain of custody certified, so to be able to distribute FSC. So we got all the badges, really, that we could put on our jersey, but it wasn't enough. It's not enough. Because there are a lot of companies that are saying, yes, we're green, to the point that no one cares anymore. Because it was just too much. It was too much, and it became trite. This word became overused. B Corp is an initiative that we wanted to obtain, and we went from 5 to 10-year guarantee, and that's a lot. Now, that's not it's not a sustainable label, but I think it's sustainable in it by nature. And when we also rent out furniture, it increases the sustainability of our products. But to me, it's really difficult to believe in a company's claim when they want to distinguish themselves in their environmental commitment. Could you opt for B Corp? We are currently going through the B Corp certification. We're actually currently making changes in order to be able to submit requests for the audit process. Thank you. So you started by regenerative company and regenerative economy. So my question is the following: what are the actions that you take on in order to restore and repair systemic ecosystems, and how do you communicate? Because some of our clients don't necessarily understand these concepts. How do you communicate on that in a transparent and joyful way? Well, the regenerative goal, which is not a regenerative company, because that would be a utopia, but it's a trend, it's a momentum, especially a paradigm shift, which is really interesting to think differently. It's a different prism, it's a different goggles that you put on with a systemic analysis, an analysis of your relationship to living beings. So we don't claim to be a regenerative company. We do have this regenerative aim, and the concrete actions that we take on is, first, interestingly, we are lucky to work on with a raw material that's a primary material, wood. Wood's been used forever. So we're lucky with that. But in a way, we end up having this relationship with regenerative actions because when we say that our furniture is supposed to last 100 years, at the end of the day, it means that at one point we shouldn't have to manufacture any furniture anymore, and that would be perfect. And we were really local. We wanted to have this local footprint, and we're thinking, well, if we start dealing with forest operators, etc. We also wanted to be interacting with environmental organizations in the different countries where we were. But we're doing our best, but I don't want also to start bashing companies that make false claims. But at least we do what we can. Thank you. Last question for the gentleman over there. Hello, Quentin Laurent from Quentin Laurent Design. I design furniture, and this morning I was at Tikamoon in Mérigny. I was having a conversation with the Tikamoon people, and we were looking for a way to, but they came up with different materials from upcycling approaches made of wood, carved, leather, and different materials that were secondhand or reused materials. And as a designer, this is the type of material that I'd like to use in my creations. But to answer your question, my clients don't even know that this is a type of product that exists. And I think that in a way, for people, using with materials that come from an upcycling approach is not something that even exists, that they can fathom. And this morning, with one of the speakers who work at the Charlotte Perriand High School, we designed an action plan to create a week of contest for students to design products made of this type of recycled product. So to create this, to have this initiative based on recycled material or reused materials. I was wondering what was the share of upcycled material that you were using, because you talked a lot about the weight, but I see that you also have a lot of different materials. So I know that we have a lot of companies out there that, and in France and in the northern part of France, that are looking for this type of material. So what is the share of this type of materials that you use at Tikamoon? Thank you for this question. What we're doing right now at large scale is that we use recycled wood in some pieces of furniture, so we do recycled wood. What we do with a company, an organization called for the sapristi table, we have a table that's made up of 10 to 15 pieces and parts of furniture, and we use premium terrazzo for our bathroom furniture that are residues of stone that we reconstitute. But beyond this, I believe that our next step is to explore this avenue with visible partnerships that are really useful, that you can really leverage, especially around circular economy. Yes, it's very useful. That's what we did with Technici 10 years ago. I don't know if you know them. It was the very beginning of this cooperation. Espérance Souzy, and that was the very beginning of all that, where we had living room short tables with crushed mussel shells or coffee residues, and we went to the creative corner with local small-scale creations. But at the time, they were initiatives that got lost in the way. And now that we're starting to slow down, we are going to reopen it and restart these initiatives. Typically with Sapristi and the reconstruction of furniture by Sapristi. Sorry, I'm very fond of this topic, so yes, we have a lot of initiatives. I consider the Sapristi tables on the website, and it's still available. And you have
Non, pas sur
sales
celle-là.
up to
Conçu exclusivement
50%
à partir de chutes de
discounts.
chaînes
No,
massives
not
qui
on
ont
that one.
design unique,
But it says that it's a
caractéristique.
unique, characteristic
Fabriqué en
Tikamoon
France,
design made in France and made of
Réinsérons
different parts of
Oui.
on est tout à fait
wood
sur le
furniture.
haut de gamme de nos produits. C'est
What's
de
the price?
3
3,899 euros.
Un grand merci.
Yes,
d'être-
exactly.
Je suis désolé, monsieur, mais si vous pouvez
Apologies,
venir voir, juste après,
Gentlemen, we don't have enough time for the last question, but if you want to come up to him, feel free to do so. You were supposed to be here last year, and you had a problem at the last minute, but you made a promise to come this year, and you
Un petit scoop sympa. On a la
you came.
grande joie,
Can we have a scoop?
d'avoir été sollicité
Breaking
par
news,
l'Opéra de
yes.
Paris pour une
The
collection
Opera
de
House of
chutes
Paris
avec,
solicited us for a capsule
à
collection
l'occasion de leurs 150 ans.
for their 150th anniversary.
C'est-à-dire l'Opéra Garnier
So
et
the
l'Opéra
Garnier
Bastille. Et vous
and
avez
the
quelques
Bastille
photos
opera houses.
avec les danseurs
And you
dans
have
le
a few
fameux
pictures
studio
of
Zambelli
the ballet
qui est en haut de
dancers
l'Opéra de Paris. Et moi,
in
qui
the
suis très, très
opera
proche de la
house,
danse,
and I
donc vous
love
allez
the
voir
dancing
apparaître à Clacy,
environment,
vous allez voir
and
apparaître
you will see
dans le courant du mois de janvier cette
starting
collection
January this
qui nous fait
capsule
chaud au cœur,
collection, which
qui
I
a
love,
été dessinée par la
It was
designeuse
designed
Charlotte Julliard,
by Charlotte
que vous
Julliard.
connaître, qui est l'un des grands talents français.
You should know because she's a really talented woman.
Avec
It's all made in
des clins
Europe,
d'œil à la danse, à
and of
l'opéra.
course,
Donc c'est,
there are
voilà,
references
ça-
to
ça
dancing,
reste
to
encore parce que c'est la première
the
fois que
world
c'est
of
révélé, mais, nous sommes entre-
opera, ballet, etc. So this is
Un énorme merci,
a
Arnaud.
breaking
Merci
news, so
beaucoup
don't
pour,
tell
ton
anyone
témoignage.
this
Bonne chance
shouldn't
tes
come out of this room.
contretemps
Thank you, well done.
d'aujourd'hui et de demain, 16h30, une autre conversation sur place. Moi, je vous retrouve
4:30
à
we'll have another
17h30
conversation
pour
here, but I'll be
la
with you
plénière du
at
World Forum 2024 avec des
7:30
invités
for the
incroyables. À
plenary
tout à l'heure.
session with incredible guests.